You are now entering the city limits of Ringling City, Florida, USA. A place where the weather is as warm as the welcome.
Ringling City is full of monsters.
Crime rates continue to skyrocket in South Florida, leading some to refer to Ringling City as a paradise lost.
The Reaper still stands out amongst the sea of violence.
Tonight's top story is Lucy Lee, the girl who lived.
I love Lucy.
Lucy's whereabouts today are unknown.
What she needed was a mental institution, and what she got was getting shoved in front of a fucking camera.
On this episode of Murder, Mystery, and Mayhem, we'll be investigating the case of the world's most notorious serial killer.
Catch me if you can. Signed, The Reaper.
The year is 2000. The stage, the shadowy, crime-filled streets of South Ringling City, Florida, an area with a proclivity for violence and crime amongst the backdrop of poverty. Then, a string of murders terrorized the city in a way never seen before. The culprit, the world's most notorious serial killer, the Ringling City Reaper. On January 31st, 2000, authorities would receive an eerie 911 call.
911, what's the address of the emergency? Hello?
Yes. You will find the body of Linda Kennedy in a retention pond located at South Limbo off Ringling Boulevard.
Can you give the official address of the location, please?
I don't know. It's a retention pond in South Limbo off of Ringling Boulevard.
In Underwood?
That is correct.
Authorities arrived to the location and found the body of Linda Kennedy at 3:41 a.m. Linda's throat was severely slashed and was disemboweled. She had a large array of other injuries that suggested she had been subjected to torture over the course of several months.
I've been working homicide in Ringling City for 2 decades now. The Reaper still stands out amongst the sea of violence. I'll never forget seeing Linda's mutilated body. I was a rookie at the time, and I'll tell you, it was one hell of a case to get your feet wet. But up to that point, we had no other killings, we had no other leads. Then Maliza's body was found in Gasparilla. Her throat had been slashed and her uterus had been completely removed. There were also signs of torture, so we knew at this point we were dealing with the same person. Then Stephanie and Megan were found the following year in 2001. In each instance, the body was mutilated and tortured in a way that we knew the murderer had basic knowledge of human anatomy. He would kill 2 to 3 times a year. This is why he was so elusive. By the time he would kill again, we already had hundreds of other homicide cases. After 3 years, we discovered the body of Danielyan. And that's when he became talkative.
Unfortunately, this was only the beginning.
Good evening, Ringling City. For the past 3 years, we've been covering the especially brutal murders of alleged prostitutes here in South Ringling. And so far, the murders have gone unsolved. But now, it seems like the killer himself has something to say.
On February 4th, 2003, Sage Corp Action News 7 would receive a mysterious letter.
From hell. Without the devil, who would carry out all of God's dirty work? I am the killer of the recent murders. I included driver's licenses of some of the victims, as well as some blood-soaked cloth from one of their clothing to prove that it is me. How many more do I have to kill before I get my name in the media or some sort of recognition? How about some name for me? It's time 7 down, many more to go. I like the following: the Reaper, the Exterminator, the Doctor, and the Cure. Catch me if you can. Signed, no one.
Along with this letter, the Reaper sent photocopies of the licenses of 3 of his victims along with a bloody cloth. After a DNA analysis, the bloody cloth was confirmed to belong to Danielle, his most recent victim at the time.
Honestly think he got frustrated. He wasn't getting credit for his crimes, so he started writing. We get so many homicides related to gangs and organized crime. He got lost in the shuffle, and he got tired of it.
The Reaper would write once again that same year after killing his 8th victim, Sophia.
From hell, I have claimed another victim. You will find the whore's body under the Ringling Bridge. You should be thanking me for removing such trash from this world. You still haven't picked the name out for me. I will continue to kill until you do. Until next time, catch me if you can. Signed, no one.
Along with another bloody cloth belonging to Sophia.
By this point, he had already killed 8 victims, and we were struggling just to keep up with all the other homicides, on top of having a serial killer on the loose. We didn't find the 8th body until we received a second letter. We started scrambling to put the pieces together to form a criminal profile based off of what little information we had. We're out here trying to find suspects that fit the profile while the media decides to pick out a fucking name for this piece of shit.
The next letter wouldn't arrive until 2004, after uncovering the body of his 9th victim, Erica.
From hell. Wow, it took 9 whores for you to finally give me a name. Better late than never, I suppose. I like your choice. The Reaper is very catchy indeed. The Ringling City Reaper sounds like a great headline. I have to go and continue my work. May you not be the unlock of me. Catch me if you can. Signed, the Reaper.
Now, using the Reaper moniker in the letters along with a crudely drawn symbol.
— 2005 rolls around. We uncover the 10th victim, Amber. Just like all the other victims, it seemed more like the act of a devil. We've got nothing. No DNA evidence, not a damn thing. Ringling City is full of monsters, which makes it nearly impossible to narrow down suspects without any concrete evidence. We didn't have any eyewitnesses at this point. Even if someone saw something that could be a potential lead, very unlikely they would come forward. Eyewitnesses have a habit of turning up dead around here. People tend not to come forward out of fear of getting mixed up with one of the local crime syndicates.
In 2005, he sent in another letter after his 10th victim, Amber, was found.
From hell, I have killed 10 total so far. Finally reached the double digits. This calls for a celebration, wouldn't you say? Killing is a lot of work, so I'm gonna take a vacation for now. But my work is far from over. Catch me if you can. Signed, the Reaper.
After this letter, the killings would stop for 5 years. Then, on January 5th, 2011,
Florida woman found cowering in a backyard in South K-Town turns out to be the Reaper's most recent victim. This is the first victim to survive an encounter with the Reaper.
That woman was a young refugee from the United Nations of Korea named Lucy Lee, the Reaper's 11th and most famous victim. Lucy is the first and only victim to survive an encounter with the Reaper. When Lucy was examined, it was discovered that the Reaper branded his symbol into her back. She was extremely malnourished and had severe injuries and bruises showing signs of torture. Lucy was able to provide lots of information about the Reaper's work and methods. She told investigators that the Reaper kept his victims in cages for 4 to 7 months before killing them and would torture them physically and psychologically for the entire duration of that time. He would frequently record himself doing heinous acts to his victims. She also mentioned that the Reaper kept his victims' driver's licenses as trophies and would often show off his trophies to her while she was captive. However, Lucy was unable to remember key information that would help investigators. She couldn't remember the car he drove, the location she was held at, or what he looked like. The only thing she could recall was her time in his cage and the mask he wore while he tortured her.
Lucy described some pretty horrific events, but never really went into explicit detail. And it seemed like every passing week, it became more difficult for her to recall the events. She didn't really provide anything that produced any real leads. The only thing she mentioned was Caucasian, plain-looking male. But after a few weeks, she couldn't even confirm that. At some point, she could barely remember her own name.
So, Lucy and I, we dated for several years. She was so sweet, shy, but a really good person. She didn't really talk about her past life before moving here, and I didn't really push it on her. I didn't want to pressure. When her parents found out about us, she got kicked out of her house. So we decided to live together and experience a new chapter in our life. Everything was going great until the recession. Our rent nearly doubled, and we didn't really have a way to pay for it. I unfortunately didn't have any family to help, and well, her family really wasn't around. So I started to sell drugs, heroin specifically. I knew a guy in South K-Town. He had pretty good connections, and I only sold to people who I trusted. And it was going well. I mean, I paid all of our bills for a while, but then Lucy started using. I could see that she needed help. And I tried to get her help. I tried to convince her to go to rehab. But she refused. So I left. And I never came back until I saw the news.
Tonight, we have an exclusive interview with the girl who lived, Lucy Lee.
The girl who lived, Lucy Lee, joins us tonight in an exclusive interview. Tonight's top story is Lucy Lee, the girl who lived.
Lucy Lee endured unfathomable horrors for the 6 months she was held captive by the Ringling City Reaper.
A media circus surrounded Lucy's case, and she was featured all over the news and countless documentaries, turning her into an overnight celebrity. The Reaper didn't seem to like the fact that Lucy was getting more attention than him, so he decided to send another message to the media. This time, the Reaper would call 911 and tell them the location of another victim.
Ringling City 911. Do you need police, fire, or medical?
Police. There has been a homicide.
What's the address?
9597 South Limbo Street. 33614. Where Linda Canada used to live before I killed her.
Luckily, there was no murder, but law enforcement did find a suspicious-looking box in the area that read, "From Hell to Lucy." Several items were found within the box, along with another letter.
From hell. This is embarrassing. I guess I'm a little rusty after taking so much time off. I won't make that mistake again. I will continue to cure this plague of mankind. My work is far from over. How is little Lucy holding up? I love Lucy. She was a worthless whore when I picked her up. Now I've made her famous. They grow up so fast. I knew she was special when I picked her up. Don't worry, I won't pursue Lucy. I'm sure she has given plenty of details about my work and told you everything she knows. I am very careful. I wish Lucy the best of luck, and she will forever be known as the one that got away. Catch me if you can. Signed, The Reaper.
The other items found in the box, along with the letter, were a naked doll in bondage, a taunting picture of Lucy, and a VHS tape. The contents of that VHS tape have never been publicly released until now. What you are about to see is shocking and disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. The Reaper set his focus on taunting Lucy by mentioning her in his letters and sending taunting images of Lucy.
From hell. Now I'm at 15. Time sure does fly when you love what you do. Why have you stopped talking about Lucy? I love Lucy. I guess her 15 minutes of fame are over. Better luck next time, Lucy. The spotlight isn't for everyone. The one that got away. Catch me if you can. Signed, The Reaper.
After that letter in 2012, Lucy stopped giving interviews and seemingly vanished. New, never-before-seen footage has recently been obtained of Lucy Lee's last interview before she declined to give any additional interviews. What you are about to see may disturb you. Viewer discretion is highly advised.
The Reaper has been known to collect the driver's licenses of his victims. However, there was one driver's license he wasn't able to collect. A young refugee from the United Nations of Korea, Lucy Lee. Lucy, thank you so much for joining us today to tell us more about your story. Do you remember any additional details about your experience? Where you were kept, what he looked like?
No, I don't remember anything. I don't.
Now, you mentioned his collection of driver's licenses and how he used to keep you in a cage and he would play music when he tortured you. What exactly did he do to you? It's okay, take your time. Lucy?
Lucy. I oh.
Lucy's whereabouts today are unknown.
I couldn't help but blame myself for what happened, so I decided to check on her, and I found her. She had no idea who I was. She seemed confused. I don't know. She kept saying something like, "You're the girl from my dreams." Nothing she said made sense. She always seemed to be looking around as if to listen to someone else in a room. It just seemed odd. She wasn't there anymore. I came back to visit a few days later. I knew she needed help, and I wanted to help her, so I was going to do everything it took to come and help her, but by the time I got here, she had left. No one knows where the fuck she is now, and someone could have taken care of her. What she needed was a mental institution, and what she got was getting shoved in front of a fucking camera. I feel so guilty, so fucking guilty. No one ever helped her. She's still alone. And that's something that I will feel guilty for the rest of my life. Please come back home.
Emily remains hopeful she'll be able to one day find Lucy and get her the help that she needs. Since Lucy's abduction, there has been 10 additional victims, with a total of 21 victims. Lucy Lee, to this day, is the only one to have survived. The Reaper's last victim was in 2015, and also sent one last letter along with a taunting picture of Lucy.
From hell, 20 victims in 15 years, 20 people cured, and you aren't any closer to catching me. Sad. Looks like I can't be stopped. Not by you, nor myself. I must take another break after such a big milestone. But don't worry, I'll be back to play our funny little game. What can I say? I love my work and want to start again. Give Lucy my best regards. Catch me if you can. Signed, The Reaper.
It's been 4 years since his last victim. We speculate he'll return next year. Hopefully he'll make a mistake, and we can finally catch the son of a bitch.
While investigators are hoping for a break in the case, something interesting recently occurred that left law enforcement scratching their heads.
There was one particular case that we did in June that was a bit odd. We investigated the murders of Will Myers and Sean Davis. Now, on the surface, the case seemed like a cut and dry drug-related homicide. However, the bodies were dumped in the same retention pond as Linda Kennedy, the Reaper's first victim. Will's throat was also slashed in a similar fashion to Linda's, and his driver's license was missing. It's odd. Like, was someone attempting to honor the Reaper? Challenge him? Is it a copycat? Or just an odd coincidence? Who knows? But this was the most bizarre homicide we've had in a very long time.
It sounds like the Reaper may have some competition for when he returns. Given the Reaper's past pattern, it is assumed he will start killing again sometime in 2020. It is unknown if the Reaper is even alive anymore, and many believe he could have died from the C virus pandemic in 2016.
I don't think he's dead. No. I think he'll return in 2020. We got some new toys. this time around. We'll be ready for him.
Did the Reaper fall victim to the sea virus? Or is he still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting to strike again? Only time will tell.